Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkeis podcast, and we hope you are enjoying the summer nights in your neck of the woods, wherever you're at, and getting a break from this hot weather, because today we are talking about our favorite summer nights movies on Hallmark Channel. It's going to be fun. I'm film critic Grace Wagner. Terry's here.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So you enjoying your summer?
Yes, when it's not raining, yes.
Yes. I know we had a crazy storm come in here into because usually we don't get that much rain, but yeah, we've had a very rainy year. Thankfully, we needed it, but this last weekend we had huge storms. But yeah, so it's been an interesting summer here in Utah.
It's been super hot and rainy here, so you can't win.
Well, we have to say, so far, doing these ranking episodes, I think you're good luck because they have been crushing it. We have right now almost 10,000 views on our Christmas and July ranking, which is a lot for us. And then the Royal ranking has over 2,000. The one from last week with the When Calls the Heart has over 1,500, and it's only been a couple days. So people are loving it.
Wow.
So we'll be excited to see how the one we already recorded, this will actually be posted in 2 weeks because we have our classic rom-com ranking that would have been last week. So hopefully that one will also do well. I really enjoyed doing that. But we have Summer Nights, and it has been somewhat of a nebulous category for Hallmark. Sometimes it was in June, sometimes it was in August, sometimes Fall into Love was in August. It's just sort of whenever they feel like summer. But how do you in general feel about the season? You think it's a good time for Hallmark?
I do think it's a good time for Hallmark. I think we see the most of our regulars in these summer movies. As I was looking them over, it's like it was the same people over and over. So it's like they really come out in the summer a majority of the time. But yeah, and if you go on location, because I love location movies, and you're enjoying some sun, it might be a good time.
And there's a lot of location movies for summer, which is fun. And I love any place tropical. So
totally.
But we all agreed that there have been some real stinkers.
Yes. Involving balloons and one involving a mountain lodge, whatever, but yes.
Yeah, a lot of bad dog movies for some reason.
Ooh,
in summer.
I feel something about dog movies. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Love them.
And some interesting ones from Jen Lilly. Sorry, Jen. Happy birthday. We're recording this on your birthday. But did you have any close like honorable mentions, tough cuts?
Ooh, I think I was really debating the Lighthouse movie with Luke McFarlane. I think that was one that I ultimately cut, but I somehow liked that one. I thought that one was very charming in it.
Yeah, it was a little boring for me, but it definitely got way more hate than it deserved. It was not a terrible film.
So I didn't really feel like it was. I cut it because at the end, it didn't feel summery to me. It didn't feel like a summer movie.
Yeah,
could have felt like it was taking all that, but. Yeah, I cut that one because I went with a little bit more silliness, some bonker stuff, a little bit more traditional. I think my list is like traditional for Hallmark and their love.
Yeah.
Sort of, because almost all the titles have love in it. So
yeah. Well, the tough cut for me was the 27-hour day, which I really thought had some fun parts, and it had some funny scenes when they get the bad wine and stuff. But I actually didn't think the chemistry was quite there. It didn't quite do for me. So that was a tough cut, but let's dive in. Let's talk about our top 12. And we definitely want to see your top 12 in the comment section, or if you want to do a blog post or a video or Twitter thread, whatever you want to do, tag us and we'll be really interested to see what you have to say. But what is your number 12?
Mine is Love at the Shore. It stars, it's from 2017. It stars Peter Porte, and I forgot to write her last name, Amanda something. I'm really sorry. I'm looking at my notes. I forgot to write her last name. But
Amanda Rigetti.
That's it. Okay, I apologize. So I like this movie because it's at the beach. She's going for a summer vacation with her family, her kids, to try to recharge her writing career. He's laid back. He teaches surfing, and they're sort of in the same rental complex, and they just, hang out. What I like about this movie is that it's not 3 days and they're madly in love. This is a couple of weeks that they're on. And so the movie goes by quickly, but there is a sense of time passing where that these two have gotten to know each other, and then they have their misunderstandings, and then, all is well when they fall in love. And I just think it's simple in a very good way. And I loved both the actors. I just thought it was charming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one was a tough cut for me as well. I enjoyed it. It's one of probably the best appearances of Happy the dog.
Oh yes, I almost forgot the dog was in it. Yeah,
era of Happy the dog in Hallmark movies. And yeah, this one's cute. It does do the you're a bad person because you didn't come to my swim meet thing, which
yes,
very annoying. But but overall, it's cute. It was in contention for me. So I can see why it made your list. I don't think the chemistry is quite there. I think that's why it didn't quite get there.
I can see it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But my number 12 is Sun, Sand, and Romance. And with, of course, Paul Campbell.
Trisha Helfer.
Yeah. And I like that this woman is like terrified of the water until she conveniently forgets about that aspect of her personality with Paul Campbell, which he's charming, so that's fine. But like the whole reason that she doesn't go on the excursion or whatever is because she's like afraid to be on the water. But then when she's with Paul, she literally solves that in like nanoseconds and it's forgotten. But it's cute. This is a perfectly cute little romance.
Oh man, yeah. Another location movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's my number 10.
Second chance romance, and very attractive people and beautiful place, and
very attractive, fit people.
Yeah,
doing fun activities like what's that thing you call when you glide? They do that too in that movie, right? Not glide, the zip tie, right? Don't they do the zip line in that movie?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
so it's like you have that. It is my number 10.
I guess I could get over my fear of water for Paul Campbell.
I don't know if a man can truly help you get over that fear, but you could try it. It might work.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkeis Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkeis podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkeis Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkeis family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkeis Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkeis to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkeis.
What is your number 11?
My number 11 is Summer Love with Rachel Lee Cook and Lucas Bryant and Travis Is it Milan?
Same. Mine's
I
also
think.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a fun, it's sort of a workplace comedy. It's a mom who's going back into the workforce years after, she's a widow, and she's going back. She's got a tween daughter, and she's got to go back to work. So it's like she doesn't know how to, not that she's not competent, but she doesn't know how to maneuver some of the newer technology, and she's trying her best. And of course, there's a triangle involved, at work, and Lucas Bryan is very dreamy in this movie, and it's fun. It's one of Rachel Lee Cook's better Hallmark movies. Her movies are mostly good that she's done for Hallmark, but I just found it so charming and a lot of fun. And I remember my sister and I watching it and going, she has got to choose this man, because no to the other one.
Well, and I like that the wrong guy though wasn't like, he
wasn't terrible. No,
he wasn't terrible. They could have made him like a cliche of, like a terrible man of business.
He just wasn't for her.
Yeah, but Lucas Bryan is very, very charming. I feel like ever since then he's been kind of more like the rugged type in most of the Hallmark movies.
Playing guitar.
And
playing his guitar.
yeah, he's been more that like with the beard and stuff, which is fine. Yeah. But like, I don't know, he is probably his dreamiest.
Oh yeah, very put together in suits and just like that classic like work look. So they really knew how to style them as well in this movie.
Yeah, and I wish that I'd had time to rewatch this, because I do kind of wonder if they could make this movie now with, like this workplace dynamic in the age of Me Too. Could they make it now, and how it holds up? Right. I didn't have time to rewatch it, but I wonder about that. But this is written by the Berg sisters, and we've interviewed them, and they have a lot of fun movies. They do a good job. So I enjoyed this one. Yeah, number 11 on Me Too.
Yay.
All right, what do you have at 10?
My 10 is Sun, Sand, and Romance.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, my 10 is My Summer Prince.
Oh.
Yeah. Which Topher Payne script. Taylor, this was one of her first roles, and you can tell like she's a model turned actress. This is a little awkward, but I still overall like her chemistry with Jack. I think it's a good start, and then they would be in a bunch together. But yeah. I think what makes this movie for me is Lauren Holly being this like over the top diva boss. I think she's really funny in it. Yeah. And so overall, it's like an enjoyable, silly royal movie that is elevated by a good script from Topher and a really fun secondary performance.
Yeah, good supporting cast for that one.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Love on Safari. With Lacey Chabert and John Court, and also Brittany Bristow. I love it because it's a location movie, and it is filmed in South Africa, and we had not had that yet in Hallmark, and we're getting another new one this Summer Nights.
Yeah.
With Brittany Bristow, and I thought it was a sequel, but apparently it's not. But okay, she looks like she's playing the same character, but I don't know.
It's also directed by Brittany's parents.
Well, okay, so but I loved it because I don't know, like when she first sets foot, I was like, look how beautiful it is over there. Look at the earth and the dirt. I was just so mesmerized by the surroundings. And I think Lacey's good in it. And I think she's okay with John Court. Like they have decent enough chemistry. I just liked it because her boyfriend was no good from the start in that movie. And I was like, no, girl, you need to move on. But I don't know. It was really like,
it's another movie where Lucy. It's another movie where Lacey inherits property.
Exactly. She has.
They love giving her property.
Yeah. Could you imagine inheriting a wildlife preserve? I mean, I don't know how I'd feel about that. Like, is this financially stable? Can I afford this? But like, I don't want to be mean to those animals, but could I literally afford this?
Right.
That they touch upon all that, but it's a beautiful location. I mean, I think that they use the most, because sometimes we have these location movies and they don't really use the location well. And I think there's really nice, because they shot at this wild preserve and the animals. And I also like that it's kind of it's a second chance for her. Like, hey, I was living my life one way, I'm not completely happy, and then she finds a new passion and a new, like, second lease to, like, a second chapter of her life. So
Yeah, this one's not a favorite of mine,
Yeah.
but I do think it is pretty, and there are some nice moments. And I actually think that's one case where I think the wrong guy's actually pretty funny. And in that one, he's so ridiculous.
I mean, he's
Over the
lousy,
top.
but he's so, and I think that must have been casting from, they did not too much because they don't, but they did have some casting, some South American, I apologize, actors from South Africa in the movie as well.
Yeah.
So they did local casting for that too.
Yeah.
And that restaurant where they're just like, I don't know how I feel about this. I think it was a hotel/restaurant.
Right.
But they're just sitting in the tables with the water. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that. I want to do it, but I don't know if I would, you know?
Yeah.
But
Well,
yes, the beauty won me over.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, my number 9 is also a location movie. It's Love for Real is my number 9. I like the fact that this one really was more about the two friends than it was about the romances, although I like Corbin Bleu and that romance was good. I love Sucker for Hawaii.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, me and Haley Strong, because I bring her on whenever they do one of these dating show movies. And also when anybody from a reality show is in a movie, that's kind of our little niche. And I love her, and we have so much fun. And Tiana Tuli, we had her on the podcast. She was great. I really enjoyed talking with her. I thought Karen Molina White was a lot of fun as this sassy producer.
Yeah, fresh faces for Hallmark too.
Yeah, it was funny, and so overall, I enjoyed this one, but mainly for the friendship dynamic more than the romance dynamic. I don't think it's like particularly accurate portrayal of reality dating shows, but I had fun with it.
Yeah.
So that is my number 9. What do you have at 8?
My number 8 is Wedding Every Weekend with Paul Campbell and Kimberly
Sutton. I have that at 7, so we're close.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I spelled her name wrong in my notes. I was just looking it over and froze. I'm sorry. I like this movie. It does feel a little empty because they filmed it during COVID. Like they were the first production, I think, back to film. And so, but they're so charming together. They're real life friends. They have great chemistry. And I think that's enough to sort of fill in the empty spaces, because it's just them in so many scenes and mannequins in the background.
Right.
But, it's also, but it has a charming story of like these people meet buying wedding gifts and they're like, you know what, we're going to all these weddings, unbelievable. And they sort of team up because they don't have a date. And, it goes from there. So it's a fun premise, and just these two are great together. They're great working partners. And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. The different couplings are enjoyable. Brandy, I love Brandy and Jamie. They're good. Of course, this was a big deal at the time because they had a gay marriage.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that nice that we can just enjoy the movies?
Right.
But, and
I do remember. It's like blink and you'd miss it, really. But I do remember it was scandalous to some. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually wouldn't know if I would say that because they were characters.
They do. They are characters.
And like there was like a whole section at the wedding and things. But yeah, I mean, it's not like it's just so ludicrous for it to be a problem, for anybody. It's insane.
Totally.
But because it just was treated like any other wedding, which they should do. And this was written by Julie Sherman Wolfe It's always going to be elevated when you have a Julie Sherman script. She is the master and at banter. The only part of this movie that I didn't really get to me was all the stuff involving the car.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and Paul Campbell supposed to be this expert on cars, and I was just
yeah,
like,
you don't believe
making
it?
sure that he got like the exact, not a replica part. I got to get the real part, just like,
well,
need that. But other than that, I did enjoy it. It was very sweet, and
it is totally sweet.
So yeah, I have that at 7. I have Summer of Dreams at 8.
Okay.
And if you had told me that I was going to be doing 2 of these rankings with Debbie Gibson movies in them, I would have said you're crazy. But this is the reality. Summer of Dreams. Ooh. It's a sweet little movie.
It's a sweet movie, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Robert Gant, he's great. Debbie Gibson, sweet, lovely. Yeah. Pascal Hutton is fun.
Good cast.
Lane Edwards, I absolutely love. One of my favorite interviews we've ever done was with Lane Edwards. When Amber told the story about when she spilled pasta all over herself. And that whole that is a great interview. You all should check it out. But yeah, this is a cute little movie, more for the, like, if you like inspirational teacher helping the students, kind of a movie that's more the appeal than the romance.
And students that won't annoy you, because sometimes you have characters, like student characters are very stereotypical to fit in, like, here's the earnest, here's the rough kid who, who has a heart of gold secretly. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
But these were just like, it's a good cast, good kids, great sister bond in this movie as well.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. It's good. What is your number 7?
My number 7 is 2 Tickets to Paradise, which is also a movie in Hawaii. But it's on my, I think this movie mainly works. It's on my list because Ashley Williams crying her eyes out in that bathroom in her wedding dress, being dumped at the altar, and her sister banging on the door trying to say she's okay. And she's like, no, my fiance dumped me through my sister. Made me laugh so hard. And when she climbs out that bathroom window in her wedding dress trying to run away, I mean, that whole breakdown just it was a lot, but I just chuckled through the whole thing. And when they get to the Hawaii, when she meets the fellow couple that were like, knock if you need help, if this guy's a psycho or whatever, like, these busy, I wouldn't say they're not busybodies, but you always, sometimes you meet people on vacation that are very like, I don't know you, but they tie themselves to you, right? And then end up becoming really good friends of yours. And he's like, if you need help, if this guy's a psycho. And the way they were like, ooh, everybody was ooh when he's walking around without his shirt and she gets to spend a day with him. And it had its fun moments. Totally.
I can see that. It did have its fun moments. Didn't make my list, but because I didn't think the chemistry was quite there, but it's definitely fun moments. And I think that's a Tracy and Dream script. Let me see. Yes, Tracy and Dream, and she kills it. She's incredible. So I can see why you had it on your list. All right. So what is 7? My number 7 is Wedding Every Weekend. So what is your number 6?
My number 6 is The Baker's Son, because it's bonkers.
It is bonkers.
Okay. It has Eloise Mumford and Brett's daughter. It's a friends to lovers sort of story, because they're like best friends in this. I mean, he sucks at baking, and the town is like begrudgingly eating his bread, and just totally sad. He falls in love with a ballerina, and magically the love makes his bread amazing. And the town, what it gets me to is this town is crazy. They capitalize on his, like, the bread being so famous. And when he gets dumped and the bread starts sucking again, they're like, we cannot have this. We cannot tolerate this. The town is all up in their business trying to hook these 2 friends up so he could love again, so the bread is good. It's just so bonkers. And how at the end of the movie, the town is following, so she won't leave, She works she runs the diner, but she loves to paint, and she's about to leave and he has to chase after her. So I love it because it's bonkers. And I
I
think
can
the
see
cast
that.
is good and they're funny, and it's my type
Yeah.
of weird, you know?
It's definitely, I wish I'd had time to rewatch it because it's definitely one that I was
Yeah.
like, I had on my, short list.
Yeah.
My number 6 is A Summer to Remember.
Uh-huh.
I think this was a sweet, mature love story. I think that Catherine Bell is one of the better actresses in the Hallmark
Yes.
stable of talent. I think she's really good.
Please get her back, Hallmark.
Yeah. And I think that her and Cameron have nice chemistry, and Phoebe
Yeah.
never looked better than in this movie. I like the secondary little romance that happens at
Yeah.
the resort. And yeah, it's just a cute little
Yeah, this one ranks
movie.
higher on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
so
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's see, what's your number 5?
my number 5 is Rome in Love.
Okay.
Uh,
Got that on my list too.
Another location movie, because I like to travel through my movies, because the only way I'm going to get there. But it's really like a play on Sabrina. She's handpicked, like going to star in this Sabrina remake. He's a reporter interviewing her, and it's just them. It's basically them just sightseeing and getting to know each other from this interviewing, and then falling for each other. And this is the best hide your baby bump movie that there's out there, because you can barely notice that she's
they did a really good
pregnant
job
in this movie. And and they picked the right clothing for her. She didn't even have to stand behind any plants or whatever, but or giant pots or whatever, but they did a great job in hiding that. I don't know, it's very charming.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, and I think it's almost even more or as much about the relationship between the sisters.
Absolutely, there's
than
also
it
a
is
great
about
sisterly relationship.
the main romance. It's hard with Peter Porte because he is just so attractive. It's almost like tough to like make him have a plot where people aren't like just drooling over him, like to like have him be like a serious character with a serious, like as he deserves. He's a good actor, but he's so attractive.
I know. And for years I was hoping he would like do a soap opera, and he's finally on one.
Oh, really?
And I was like, yes, this is where he belongs. I haven't
like,
caught
if you're
up
not
on
going to
it,
have him play like a Prince Charming kind of type, or be in a royal movie or something, like,
oh my gosh, he's never been in a royal movie. What a wasted opportunity. Yeah.
He was Cinderella. It was a Cinderella movie though, right? Wasn't he?
Oh, and I can't remember now.
I thought he was in a Christmas Cinderella Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That one he was in with Amanda Schull was so disappointing. They just were airing that the other day. That one was but anyway, I have Rome in Love higher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this one's really charming.
Yeah, I really like it. My number 5 is Pearl in Paradise.
Oh, I have that much higher on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they've got great chemistry, Jill and Chris. It's like a fun adventure story that is a little bit silly when you start to like poke at it, that this Pearl would be like, it's just like sitting out there for and nobody's found it. Like,
but I love that it kind of reminds me of 80s romance movies, like
Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone, and most recently the what's that one called with Sandra Bullock?
Lost City,
which is kind of Romancing the Stone anyway, but I love how it's real. Like sometimes when they go searching for these things, it's not real, but what they're looking for is actually real.
Yeah.
And I love how the roles are reversed. He is more like, what if you would watch these movies, what the woman would be like, too delicate to do anything. Yeah. He's the more nerdy one. He's the more like, he doesn't know what he's doing. And Jill Wagner is all. This movie is just so much fun. Beautiful. It's filmed in Fiji. They use a lot of local casting too for the supporting cast, which is nice. And it's just,
well, and you got to have every single movie with Jill Wagner has a scene of her taking the guy out shopping. I don't know what it is.
I didn't even realize that. Yes, oh my God.
They do. They've got to have that Jill Wagner shopping montage.
Oh, well, he needed it. He needed to go to the jungle. But I think this is probably the truest adventure movie that Hallmark has made.
I'd agree.
You know?
I'd agree.
Hey, this is Jen Johans, host of the podcast Watch with Jen, which delivers a steady stream of great movie recommendations, thoughtful career deep dives, and first-rate conversations with film critics, authors, actors, journalists, filmmakers, and more. You can find Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts or hear us first at our Patreon at patreon.com/filmintuition.
What was your five?
My five was Roman Love.
Okay, Roman Love. Okay, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Summer Villa, with Hilaria Burton and Victor Webster. And I find this movie very charming and fun, though they are in Canada and not Paris. So if you can put that aside, I mean, they are clearly in Canada, only because the villa that they stay in has been in other Hallmark movies, past and present, and most likely currently, and a couple of CW shows, but you'll figure it out. But I love it because she's a romance writer in a rut, and her agent goes, go to Paris, so she goes with her daughter. She's like, her daughter's a teen, so it's like, oh, mom, and then she meets the agent's brother staying there, and he's a very prickly chef, and then he meets up with another French chef, and they just have Parisian adventures in Canada. Parisian adventures in Canada, but there's a love that grows, and I do love the thirst trap moment that they have for Victor Webster when he's swimming in the pool. I appreciate that, Hallmark. Thank you very much. There you go.
Yeah, and I got to interview Victor at Christmas Con, so it was only about 6 minutes, but it was fun to sit down and talk with him, and so I'll have that sometime in August, probably airing the Christmas Con interview.
I think this is still a favorite of a lot of Hallmark fans.
Yeah, it's really good. Hilaria Burton's so good. I have it at 3, so we're close on it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. The whole idea of her writing this book, and then like it gets into this cooking competition somehow.
Oh yeah,
but the teenage daughter is like, it's like a pretty good. It's not too grating.
Yeah, it's not too. I do love that. Oh, I forgot that they had the blind date that went wrong, and then they meet up again at the villa. I forgot about that. I love that horrible, that horrible blonde date, blonde, that horrible blind date. Oops.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah. Well, my number 4 is probably a forgotten one. It's Stranded in Paradise. Is my number 4.
Oh my gosh, I did forget about that. That has Vanessa Marcel. That's Brenda Barrett, people.
Yeah, she was in one of my very first non-Christmas Hallmark movies that I loved is The Nanny Express with Brennan Elliott's also in that. That one's underappreciated.
Absolutely, it is.
And I remember we'll have to do an underrated Hallmark ranking one of these days. Yeah. But this one is, I think, a little underrated. It's really good. Like she gets stuck there.
She gets fired. Yeah,
she gets fired, but then she goes anyway to this thing, but then she ends up getting stuck. She meets James Denton there, and
they make friends. They go through a hurricane. They fall in love. It's very charming. I did forget about this one. I'll be honest with you.
Tracy Andreen's script. And she almost always crushes it. This one's a fun one.
I can't believe I forgot this one because I am a Vanessa Marcel fan. This Brenda Barrett for life.
I know. I wish she'd come back.
And she has very few Hallmark movies, and they are all pretty good. I think she has 3, and they're all pretty decent. And this was filmed in Puerto Rico, and which reminded me, for Sunny and Brenda fans, their adventure in Puerto Rico. So in the 90s, epic.
And this one is on Movies Now. If people,
it is. It's on the streaming service. It's a lot of fun. They have good chemistry, and also they're not like they're playing their age. They're age appropriate.
Yeah,
like they're not playing younger than they are. Because I always laugh when these actors, how old they are, and they're like, "But I'm almost 40," and I was like, "You haven't been 40 in 12 years." You know what I mean?
And the absolute worst though is when. The absolute worst though is when they have them in like flashback scenes pretend to be in high school or college. It's just like, my gosh.
The only one who had fun with that was the Magic Cookie movie from last year.
Oh yeah.
The love cookie where they flashed back had
Oh
me
yeah,
howling. Yes, when they have fun like
Marco.
that, right? When they have fun, with the wig and the hair, and it flashed back to like the 90s, and I was like, yes, thank you. This is how you do it. You make fun of it. You have fun with it.
Yeah, the worst is the one with Jessica Lowndes and Wes Brown.
Oh my gosh.
It's bad. Really bad. But yeah, I know I've been thinking about if I was gonna write a script, and I'm like, ooh, do I want to include a flashback that I know it's gonna be super cringe? Because they're not
Well,
gonna
they have
hire
a budget. They
separate-
can't hire poor younger actors to play themselves. They're on a budget, I guess.
Yeah.
Or they don't want sometimes they do that because they think the audience will be confused. How confused can you be? It's a flashback.
Yeah.
We're
All
not
you have
that
to do is
stupid.
get that like sepia tone and you're good.
Yeah, right.
Get it golden in tone. And everyone knows it's a flashback. All right, well, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Her Pen Pal.
Okay. Yeah.
Another location movie,
So
this
good.
time in Paris. It is just so
Ugh.
good. I had not seen this one until recently. I had a few movies to catch up on, and I was like, I can't. It's, they come up with so many movies. Sometimes you think you've watched them, and you haven't. And it was just so good. I mean, I loved how they didn't wait to the last minute, because she's planning her friend's wedding, and it's basically not something she likes, but she realizes that she's not planning a wedding for her friend like her friend would want early on in the movie.
Yeah.
They don't wait till the last minute where they have some kind of confrontation. And what a terrible ex-boyfriend she had. They were dating for 12 years. They were separated for 6 months. They dated for 12 years, separated for 6 months, and he brings a date to Paris, which he then ignores because he's like, oh my gosh, is she seeing this guy? Now I'm interested again. And what a terrible human being he is to both those women.
Yeah.
But it's so great.
Bad. He is pretty bad.
The whole pen pal aspect of it is really fun too. And it's second chance romance as well. And it's just perfect. Great cast.
So good. It's so good. Joao can crush it on the writing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe her best scripts, and that's saying a lot because she's done some really good ones. This movie made me officially forgive Claire Meterprum for her Little Women movie, which I absolutely hated so much. I've officially forgiven her because she made this movie. It was so good.
Oh man, I have yet to see that one.
Oh,
because I heard such terrible things.
Don't put yourself through it. It's not worth it. This is excellent, and I wish we could get more Joshua Sassy in Hallmark movies. And loved everything about it.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkeis merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkeis merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkeis or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkeis.
Well, my number 3 was Summer Villa.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is A Summer to Remember.
Oh,
I love this movie. This is another thank you for that thirst trap moment, Hallmark, with Cameron Matheson, holding on to that horse and walking on the beach. And I was like, yes, because he's very prime. He's Cameron Matheson. I know him from soaps. He's currently on General Hospital. This was a prime. He's in his prime at this when this movie came out. I love it too because it's also a second chance, just in general in life for these characters. They're a bit older. It's a little bit more mature. They great. They also use local casting for this, and Fiji's beautiful. And I think I loved all the characters, and it's a great mother and daughter romance too. And I did laugh. If you catch the beginning of this movie, she's a doctor. She opens up a folder. She's looking at these folders. There was nothing in any of these folders. She opens it up. She pretends she's reading, puts down, and I was like, these folders are empty. And you can clearly tell, but like, kudos to Catherine Bell for like, yes, I am reading something that is not here. So,
Yeah.
you know.
But I do think this is another underappreciated.
I think so too. I think so too. Can
really
we
good.
please have Catherine Bell back?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's been up for, she did one Lifetime movie, Jailbird Lovers, which I recommend because it is bonkers.
That sounds
It's
fun.
not, it does not take itself seriously. It's based on a true story, but it doesn't take itself seriously. But can we have her back, please?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we haven't had
her.
one since she had that. There was a Christmas movie a couple years ago.
Since Good Witch ended.
We haven't seen her.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her
since Good Witch
then.
ended. She hasn't been back. You know, it's like, come on, Hallmark, call her back. She did a show. She did like
meet me
something years
meet
of
me
Good
at
Witch
Christmas. Meet me at Christmas was her last one. That's 2020.
Yes, right. And then Good Witch ended, and she hasn't been back then. It's like Hallmark sometimes has now forgotten certain actors. Call them back up. You know, call her back up and call Alicia Witt up, please. I need a Christmas movie. Yes. Why are you doing us?
Well, the Jailbreak Lovers, that's the only movie she's done. So
yeah, she hasn't done much, so she might be taking some time off. I don't know, but if you guys want to see a campy, doesn't take itself too seriously, Lifetime thriller of sorts, romance, check that one out. I howled through everything.
That sounds fun. That sounds good. My number 2 is Roman Love. I think Topher's script is excellent in this. I mean, he had a very hard task paying homage to Roman Holiday, but you know, like making a remake without actually making a remake is not easy to do. And I thought he did just about as good a job as you could do.
It's based on a book too, and because I saw that in the credits, because this was another one that I realized I hadn't watched yet, and I, you know, watched it to be fair, to make it on this list, you know, to see everything. But it's based on a book, and Hallmark is notorious for having their movies be nothing like the book. So I wonder how close it is to it.
Yeah. Well, I think the relationship between the two sisters is really lovely. It's definitely great, something I connect to because I have siblings that are a lot younger than me. So I could connect with that.
Very supportive of each other as well.
Yeah,
it's
and
a great
her feeling like she has to be mini mom to the sister, and then the sister kind of saying it's okay, you know, you can go and do these things, and there's just a lot of cute little scenes and homages to Roman Holiday.
This movie made me realize that how obsessed studios are with IP that they have not thought about remaking this movie, which is probably a blessing.
Roman Holiday, you mean?
Yeah, because like not of course the movie that they are, because they are remaking Roman Holiday in Roman Love, and I almost feel like I'm surprised Hollywood has not thought let's remake this. But
yeah, I mean they've made a lot of movies that were very similar to
it,
you know, with it, but I think part of it is because they would have to change the ending for modern audiences, and that would ruin it.
I don't know. It's too
really,
easy. Like, don't make it too easy.
I don't think that a modern audience would accept the ending of Roman Holiday.
Which is very funny because that is what they talk about in Roman Love, whether they're, you know, to change the ending or not.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think everybody needs it. Like the way people lose their mind with ambiguous endings, you know, but but where would be those videos where, like, where would be those YouTube videos? Like, let me explain the ending to you. Where would those people be? You know, kudos. Sometimes there are such,
but there
are dense movies out there that need that. You know, but
like people are saying ending explains movies for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, and I'm just like, what is wrong with people? Like, do you have so little media literacy that you can't? Like, it was not complicated. Like, what? But
you're right. They probably would change the ending.
I guess people have to clickbait, so what are you gonna do? But
but I think you're right. They probably couldn't. They'd have to change, which would anger fans. And then, could you imagine the social media war over that?
Let us know in the comments if you think that they could pull off a modern day Roman Holiday. And I mean, I guess you look at something like La La Land, and that basically had kind of a similar ending, and a lot of people loved that. So maybe they could, but let's see. So what is your number 1?
My number one is Pearl in Paradise.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this movie. 2 pieces. Probably because I love Romancing the Stone so much, and this is spiritually akin to that movie. But I just love the adventure of it. I love adventure movies, especially of the 80s. So this kind of reminded me of it, and I feel like Hallmark went out of their way for this one. You know, filmed in Fiji, and they used the location really well, and they're, you know, just the exploration. Like, this is the closest we're ever going to get to a true blue adventure movie for Hallmark. And like these two, Jill Wagner and Chris, like, have great chemistry. And, you know, if you haven't seen anything with them together outside of Mystery 101, check this one out. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it really is. Well, my number one is Her Pen Pal.
Yeah.
Is my number one. I really loved this movie. I loved
It's
all
great.
of the banter. I like the way that they handled their relationship. Like, she wasn't like upset with him for like long.
No.
She I thought just the conflict was written really well.
Yeah.
And I was invested.
Oh,
They had
that
great
house he
chemistry.
had. Her reaction was perfect. Like, wait a minute, this is your house? What?
Yeah.
I was like, is this guy secretly rich? Because I don't know how else you can afford. I was like, whoa, look at this house.
Yeah.
I also loved, of course it would be, the American guy trying to buy his house when he wants to turn it into a resort with the gift baskets. I laughed so much at that. Because I've known people.
It was a good wrong guy.
Yeah, it was. I laugh so much about that because I know people who've worked where where their sole job is buying these gift baskets to woo people to sell things. So I felt that this rang very true in that aspect where he kept getting like all these, you know, with soaps and cheese and all that stuff. How are you going to give somebody who lives in France, you know, a basket of cheese? You know, like,
Yeah,
they got the best cheese over there. They're fine. They don't need your cheese.
That's true. Yeah. Well, let's go over our list real quick.
Okay.
So 12, I have Sunset and Romance. 11, Summer Love. 10, My Summer Prince. 9, Love for Real. 8, Summer of Dreams. 7, Wedding Every Weekend. 6, A Summer to Remember. 5, Pearl in Paradise. 4, Stranded in Paradise. 3, Summer Villa. 2, Roman Love. And 1, Her Pen Pal.
Yep. Great list. And mine is number 12 is Love It for me. 12 is Love at the Shore. 11, Summer Love. Number 10, Sun, Sand, and Romance. Number 9, Love on Safari. Number 8, Wedding Every Weekend. Number 7 is 2 Tickets to Paradise. 6 is The Baker's Son. Number 5 is Roman Love. Number 4, Summer Villa. Number 3, Her Pen Pal. Number 2, A Summer to Remember. And my number 1 is Pearl in Paradise.
Very good. Well, let us know your ranking, your top 12. I'll put a link to at least my short list on Letterboxd. Make sure you sign up for Letterboxd. It's a lot of fun. And please, if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot and people to find the podcast. If you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Most of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribers. So please, if you are in that group, please subscribe because that helps us a lot. And Terry, where can people find you?
They can find me at Twitter and Letterboxd at Flurry Heaven.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. And also check out our Patreon group. That's the biggest way that you can help us. And yeah, thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.